40-plus points. He's 6th in the nation in scoring. He's going to break Stanford's all-time freshman scoring record, a dynamic scorer who does it all levels, gets to the foul line at will, and can make tough shots, and he's fearless. And on the other side for BC, Fred Payne has been the guy. He's increased his scoring by nearly 8 points per game, as well as improving his rebounding and assist numbers. Payne plays both ends of the court. He plays with energy and effort, and he gives everything he has every night. BC needs him to have a big game tonight versus Stanford.
No question about that. Fred Payne, 41% from the field, 15 points per game. And BC's a good home team. They're 8-5. It's just a matter of them developing consistency as the Eagles have had an up control. The tip is we are off and running at County 4. Payne looks for Jaden Hastings, an athletic big for Kapke on the baseline, but he stepped out of bounds. Bowden Kapke's been a nice addition for Earl Grant, a transfer from Butler.
And John, I think the biggest thing for BC is to set the tone early and be aggressive. They want to attack Stanford, get in the paint, create opportunities that way.
Stanford starting five with a Corey Geeler, Agarwal, Young, and Rahosi. Young and Rahosi part of their front court for their second-year coach Kyle Smith. Stanford active on the offensive end. Corey trying to shake Luka Taves. Corey with a left-hand shot, but he drew contact.
And I think we're going to be seeing that a lot tonight. Corey getting to the free throw line. He's getting to the line almost 9 or 10 times a game. And you see right here, just being aggressive, attacking, and he could do it with the right or left hand. I tell you what, Toes, he has his hands full tonight with the Corey.
Stanford offensively 9-1 when scoring 80 or more points. That's their magic number. As Corey hits 1 out of 2. Pretty good free throw shooting team. On the other side, BC is not. That's been a problem with the Eagles. We look at their starting five. Donald Hand. They expected a lot out of him, the reigning ACC comeback player of the year. Good move inside by Jaden Hastings. I mentioned it as athleticism. If they can get him more paint touches, that should be good things to come.
Well, they just have to be aggressive. They have to look to get to the basket, finish, and play through contact, and that's what Hastings did right there.
Foul on Rahosi of Stanford with Hastings trying to complete a three-point play. Our officials are A.J. Desai, Kip Kissinger, and Jamel Spearman. You see 65% free throws. If you shot 65% during your Syracuse career, that might be a few suicides after practice.
Exactly. 85 or better. Come on, John.
I'm not surprised. Agarwal, uncontested dunk. Breakdown on the defensive end.
When you talk about it, Corey, we know about it, but who are the other guys for Stanford that's going to step up? Agarwal is a guy who can shoot it from deep. We like seeing him being aggressive, getting to the basket, finishing.
Hastings working on Rahosi. Nice baseline move. Too strong, and here comes Stanford. Ryan Geeler with the basketball. I talked to Kyle Smith earlier today about him, and he just loves him. Calls him one of those glue guys, a gym rat. He's always in the gym trying to improve. Good move by Payne to the bucket. Oh, nifty dribble.
And for Boston College, they want to try to get out in transition ahead of the defense and score that way rather than having to play against a set defense in the half court. Great job by Payne pushing the pace.
Geeler. And tip rebound by Hastings to Kapke. Geeler up top on Payne, who's improved his dribbling. He can play the 1 and the 2. Luka Taves, also a combo guard. Hastings, baseline, that's a shot he has to hit.
Have to finish it. Great job getting into the lane by Taves, dropping it off. Hastings upset at himself with that one.
And an offensive foul.
Stanford doing a good job of moving the ball. You see the kick out, playing off the closeout, and Agarwal, who's usually shooting it from deep, finishing it at the rim, and Payne a semi-transition opportunity. Great job finishing with the left hand at the rim.
Good energy by BC off the tip, and Stanford, I think everybody makes a lot of the travel issues. It's 5.5 hours here, it's 5.5 hours there. It's just something, as Kyle Smith said, we've learned to deal with.
Yeah, and I don't think Coach Smith wants to hear those excuses. I mean, that's just a part of it and how it is. They're out here ready to play and compete.
Bowden Kapke, strong. Power move, and he puts it up and in.
John really loved what BC is doing early on, trying to feed the post and set the tone, being aggressive at the basket.
How about the substitution pattern early? Oscar Hilty, number 15 in black in the game. Deep three by Gieler. And they keep it alive on the offensive glass. Trying to take Taves off the dribble. And a foul on the Eagles' Luka Taves, who's a member of the Japanese national team.
And how about Taves? Just doing a great job of penetrating, finding the open guy. And Kapke, if you don't get it once, then we're going to get it twice. Just continuing to play through it.
On the wall. So Stanford is off. Cardinals shooting 1 for 5 from the field. And Payne gets it stripped. Here comes Gieler with a 3. Donald Hand into the front court.
John, that's one thing that BC has to do. They have to be able to take care of the basketball. You see 2 turnovers the last 2 possessions.
Quick hands, denying the ball. Gieler. No-look pass by Hand. And he got sloppy.
And that's really what hurt him at the end of the Miami game. Donald Hand with the turnover towards the end of that game, and they had a chance to win it.
Many games like that for BC. And Ryan Gieler will be a focus of their offense for Stanford tonight.
And how about Gieler? Benny Gieler, a silent leader, the former walk-on, getting into the passing lane and finish it.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by DQ. Happy tastes good. Brewster Academy, a decorated group coming from that school in New Hampshire, and the latest in the class, Ibuka Okori, class of 2025. What's funny about Okori, Eric Devendorf, he didn't score that much in high school, probably because that's a loaded group anyway of Division I talent, but here he is, the second leading scorer in the ACC and 6th in Division I.
Well, I think he was ranked 300 or something coming out of high school his senior year, so Stanford got a diamond in the rough, and boy, I tell you, he's having one of the best freshman years in the country, scoring the basketball, making plays, and he also does it on the defensive side as well.
Bowden Kapke in the post. They are getting their paint touches. BC now at 7, and that's something you're going to watch.
And I think that's what they need to do. They need to be aggressive, but they can't turn it over 3 times in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Aiden Cameron is in the ball game, 52 in black. He's from Andover, Mass. About 40 minutes from here, going towards New Hampshire. Here comes Fred Payne in transition. Pulls the double team. Both teams cold, much like the temperatures outside. Is that just a product of maybe a later start as well?
Well, you know what? I think for BC, they're doing a great job of playing fast and getting out ahead of the defense. Again, it all boils down to, can you take care of the basketball?
Foul on Stanford. Let's take a look at Earl Grant in his 5th year for the Eagles. 16 games under 500, but you know, BC's record not clearly where they want to be, but one thing about Earl Grant teams, they play hard, they practice hard, he's passionate, you talk to him, media friendly, no question about that, and he gets it. He knows, you know, it's not easy, but he's trying to establish a culture, and I think he's done that in 4 years here. Fred Payne for the baseline, and that's maybe an overused term in all of sports, but it still means something, doesn't it?
And I think the biggest thing is you could never tell if they're winning or losing. He's always going to be the same. He's positive with his players, with the media. I mean, Coach Grant is a great guy.
How about Benny Gieler? giving Stanford a 2-point lead. Averaging 10 points. 11-3 in his last 4 games. 3 is wide of the net, an air ball. Good pass and a lay-in for Dent Smith. Transfer from Division II Cal State Dominguez. Into the shot clock guy. He can get his buckets. Division II All-American last year. Stanford riding a 7-0 run.
And how about Geeler? He's a guy who had an impact last year, but even more of an impact this year, just being a leader and getting guys organized. Great pass ahead to Dent Smith, who finishes.
Late in the shot clock, Kapke. O'Corey trying to fight with Aiden Shaw, Missouri transfer for the Eagles. Good hustle on both ends.
You talked about Geeler, and look at him just getting inside and Cameron with the kick out. And the former walk-on, he could really shoot the ball. He's hit a bunch of big shots this year and then pushing the pace, getting ahead to Dent Smith, who knows what to do with it around the rim.
Hand on the baseline. Shot, tied up, good defense. Jump ball, and it's Stanford on the possession, but active defense by the Cardinals.
And for BC, John, talking about Donald Hand, he's a guy who really has to get going. We talked about Fred Payne being the guy for most of the year. You see right here, great job by Camden just getting his hand on the ball and creating the tie. But Donald Hand, he needs to look to be aggressive and not play hesitant against the Stanford defense.
And averaging 14 points, Dent Smith. And the rebound for Chase Forte, a guy they had high hopes for, coming out of University of South Dakota. First team All-Summit League last year. One of the many well-traveled players in college basketball. This is his 4th stop. And a giveaway. BC approaching 4 minutes with no field goals, and that's been a problem for the Eagles.
Well, that last possession was just bad spacing. They had the mismatch inside with Smith, and he just wasn't able to create that space that he needed. And you see Stanford coming down on their side and converting.
3rd point of the game for O'Corey, approaching Todd Lichty's freshman Stanford scoring record. Geeler. Yes, sir. 12-0 run for the Cardinal. An energized Stanford group for Kyle Smith. And a timeout. Largest lead of the game for the Cardinal. Come on back to Chestnut Hill after this.
Been a spark for this Stanford team early on.
He ranked 8th in the ACC in threes per game. He already has his season average of 2. So he's a big part of what makes them successful. Fred Payne to the rack. Open path. The siege party.
And that's what BC needs to do. Be aggressive getting into the paint. They've done a good job of getting paint touches. They just haven't done a good job of finishing and taking care of the ball.
Payne, the Eagles' leading scorer for the season. With 15, he's off to a 4-point night. Dent Smith. Stanford moving around the perimeter. They usually play 4 out. They call it a Florida-like offense. Rebound for Chase Forte.
See, BC went a little zone that last possession, John, trying to mix it up.
And working on Geeler. Nice job to the foul line. That's what you want to see, aggressiveness.
And he could do that, especially with Geeler on him. He has a size advantage. Go ahead, play with contact, get to your spot, rise up and shoot over him. That was a great job by Donald Hand.
Agarwal to Stanford, now to Dent Smith. Agarwal blocked by Hastings. He averages more than 1 block per round. Here comes Forte, and an offensive foul. Dent Smith had position, and Forte overzealous on the offensive end.
We BC got what they wanted. Defense turning into offense on the other end. And Dan Smith just does a great job hustling back, getting in front of Forte, and drawing the charge.
That's 6 turnovers for the Eagles. Corey. And contact. It's foul on Fred Payne. Kyle Smith, the Stanford coach. Some pensive moments for him now, but they clearly established an early win streak. 21 wins last year. Had a terrific year. 17 wins at home. A great hire. He was terrific at Washington State. He's been great wherever he's been. Won the CIT for Columbia 2015. Columbia is not an easy place to win in the Ivy League, and one of those guys that's a program builder.
Well, he's a guy who gets more out of his players.
Hastings on the baseline. Eagles with some life with a 6-0 run. Good timeout by Kyle Smith. So BC with some signs of life, trailing the Cardinal by 3. I'll lead you into that.
Yeah.
So Kyle Smith with a timeout has seen better moments on their sideline, but their season summer, Eric, they started out winning 14 of their first 18.
Yeah, well, they've been struggling their last 6. You see 1-5 in their last 6 games. What's really helping them, John, is the quad 1. You see, they got 4 quad 1 wins. And they really got a favorable schedule going forward. If they can get this win tonight, and then going forward, they'll be favored in a lot of those games. So they're still in contention for NCAA play.
Also considered, says our ESPN bracketologist Joe Lenardi. They're now number 83 overall. O'Corey lost it, but picked it up. Dealer thought about the 3. Now he takes it off balance and the roll.
And you know what, John? BC is doing a good job of putting bodies around Corey. And what does Stanford have to do? They have to have other guys stepping up. And Dealer is doing that in this first half.
Dealer has 11 of their 18. And fade away. Kapke keeps it alive for the Eagles. The Butler transfer throws the ball away. 7 turnovers for BC. Dealer feeling it. Not this time.
Despite that miss, he has been all over the floor on both ends, defensively and offensively, just making an impact.
What would you do on the offensive end if you were BC? More paint touches?
Well, they're doing a great job of getting there. We talked about taking care of the basketball. When they get to the paint, they have to be able to make the right decision and then finish at the rim.
And late in the shot clock, too strong. Ball loose, hand on the floor, tied up. Good hustle on both sides. Another frustrating moment for BC on the offensive end.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. They got to take care of the basketball.
Buka Corey leading the way, 22.4 points per game. Decorated list, all-time points per game leaders. Kenny Anderson, Mark Price, Steph Marbury as a Georgia Tech alumni, and then Cole Anthony. Historical context tells you how good his season has been.
Well, he's having a historic season. And for one of the best freshman seasons, I mean, in NCAA history. I mean, look at the company right here. Kenny Anderson, Mark Price, Stephon Marbury. Georgia Tech had a lot going on back in the 80s and 90s, and then you got Cole Anthony. But, I mean, you can't say enough about what Corey has been doing. Both ends of the floor, getting to the cup, being effective on the perimeter. He's just been doing it all for Stanford this year.
Also, they're holding on to the ball. They have 1 turnover. Payne continues to lead the Eagles. That's his 6th point of the night.
Well, John, BC has been doing a good job of getting some good looks and opportunities. They just haven't been able to knock them down.
Aiden Kamen. Nice move.
And, John, I think that's what Stanford has to look for more so. Get the ball into their big. You see Hilte and Kamen. Kamen has been playing great as of late. Career high 19 points against Clemson, but take some pressure off from Corey and get your bigs involved.
Another giveaway by BC. Dent Smith to Keeler. Kamen trying to show some athleticism, but they throw the ball away. Take a look at that last Stanford possession, and ball fake by Kamen, and then to the hoop.
Well, we just talked to him. He's had a career high 19 points versus Clemson, and he's been making an impact for the Stanford team, looking to be aggressive.
And good defense, swarming defense. Hilty got a hand on it. Okore, nice through. So good off the dribble, and now an injury for the Eagles. Donald Hand is down. He has dealt with leg injuries in the past. You will take a timeout. Back to Chestnut Hill after this. Play. His hand looked like he was grimacing before the shot even went up on the double team, and he tore his ACL there in 2022 on that right knee. Hopefully we're just dealing with a incident here where he can come back quickly, but unfortunate moment for him as he's 5 points shy of 1,000 in his career.
Yeah, it's tough. We're just wishing him the best, and hopefully it's not a serious injury.
Caleb Steger replaces him, freshman from Dallas. Misses the three. Stanford, game of runs for them in the first half. They have an 8-2 run ongoing, and there's the nifty ball move.
Oh my!
By Okore. That was a pro-like move.
And I tell you what, he just got in his dance a little bit, head fake, and then how skilled do you have to be to have a left-hand floater? That was an unbelievable finish.
Did you ever do that?
I did have a left-hand floater, John. Yes, I did.
You set yourself up for that.
That was an unbelievable finish by Okore.
Yes, it was. Kapke blocked. Stanford's defense more tenacious here in the last 3 minutes.
They've been picking it up and getting out in transition. And I tell you what, Okore just needs one to go down, and then He's feeling it.
One-man wrecking crew. He has 10 points. That's 21 out of 23 games for Abuka Okori in double figures. Coming off a 40-point game against Georgia Tech. A Stanford freshman record. Floated by Luka Taves. Earl Grant's been a huge Luka Taves fan since he's come on campus. And they feel like he can develop an offensive game. It's been a bit slow thus far.
Well, with hand out of the game, he has to look to be aggressive, getting to the basket, and making plays for himself and others.
Corey. And it goes out of bounds. Good defense by Taves. Abuka Okori, the last two buckets. The mini 5-0 run for him. What a move with the left-hand floater.
How about this? A little head fake, and I don't think people really understand how skilled you have to be to have a left-handed floater, and then just pulling up in transition. He's starting to feel himself. BC, you better watch out.
Common for Dent Smith. Fade away. He's got it. Three-pointer for Dent Smith. 5 for 13 for Stanford from 3.
John, he's another guy, Dent Smith, who Stanford, they want to see him be aggressive, looking to score the basketball.
12-0 run as they built their largest lead of the game. Taves, he's got the last 4 BC points.
And I like Taves. He has to look to be aggressive. We talked about hand being out. He has to look to be a scorer. When you do that, things will open up. He'll have opportunities to make plays.
Dent Smith, uncontested on the baseline. Slow closeout by the Eagles' Fred Payne. You're wondering what happened there.
Well, there was no help side defense. He just walked in for a layup, and BC has to be careful before this thing gets away from him.
Payne, nice shot from the elbow.
It's a great job by Payne right there, just continuing to be aggressive. When you continue to be aggressive, good things are going to happen, but now they got to get stops here on the defensive side of the floor.
Hilty and a travel. Rare turnover by the Cardinal. Freshman Oscar Hilty from Belgium, but Dent Smith, they bring him in from Division II Cal State Dominguez, and he's given them a nice lift, especially from long range.
And the coaching staff, they want him to be more aggressive, and he's capable of scoring the basketball and making plays. And you see on those last 2 possessions, great job knocking it down from deep and then attacking the basket, finishing with the right.
Division II Cal State Dominguez team almost won the national championship last year. They lost in the title game. Payne from 3, too strong. Good defense, but BC keeps it alive. That's good hustle by Chase Forte. Taves, what a pass. Slipped it in the back door for Hastings. And the power move.
And a great job by Hastings continuing to play. If he would have handled it right away, it'd just been an easy finish, but he continued to play, and he finished at the rim. It's a great job by Hastings. He's playing hard on both ends of the floor.
Hastings averaging 6 points, 6 rebounds. Redshirt sophomore from Orlando. Agarwal. And Hastings the rebound.
And they have to look to go and get out ahead of that defense and try to get easy looks.
Pass to the post for Kapke. Out of bounds. And that will bring us to immediate timeout. So an up and down game. Stanford shooting 48%. They have the upper hand by 10. That's just 2. Stanford with a 10-point advantage. Abuka Okori starting to feel it. He's in double figures, and they've just been a better all-around game. BC's turnovers have hurt them.
You can't have 8 turnovers in the first half. You only average 10 a game. They're doing a good job attacking the paint and getting there. They have to finish, but 8 turnovers is why they're down 10 right now. And Stanford's done a great job of converting off of those turnovers.
Kapke for 3. It's his first 3 of the night. BC, it's funny, just when you think they're losing steam, they come back with a run of their own. It's now 7-0 for the Eagles.
Well, they have that fighting spirit, and it starts with their coach, Coach Grant. They're never going to give up. They're known to be a scrappy defensive team. I think they excel offensively when they're able to push it and get ahead. They have to figure out in the half court how they can get some movement and get some easy looks.
Keeler thought about the three, but instead we have an offensive foul on Hilty, and now a technical foul. Technical foul on Oscar Hilty. As we will take another look.
Yeah, you didn't really see what happened. I don't know what Hilty was complaining about, but regardless, just run back on the other end. Well, I guess it wasn't even on Hilty. Was it on Hastings?
Yes, it was on Hastings. Strange play.
Yeah, I mean, you see them, they're just battling down there. I mean, it's physical. That's what's going to happen.
For three, off the mark. Thank you, Jay Alter. You just called a thriller. Syracuse 107-100 win over Cal in double overtime. Good to have you with us. John Mita-Perrell alongside Eric Devendorf as BC drives and Chase Forte converts and draws contact. Stanford has carried the play throughout the first half, but BC tough to shake the Eagles. Stanford built a 14-point lead, and Forte drawing contact and making an athletic move.
And John, this is where BC really excels at getting out in the open court, and see Forte doing a great job. Head down, get to the basket, finishing at the rim, and a chance for a three-point play.
And the Eagles up to 45% from the floor. Stanford shooting 46%. That foul was on Benny Geeler, his first. And Forte completes the three-point play. It is a 10-1 run for BC.
Well, it's really been the 8 turnovers that BC has that got them in that deficit early in this first half, but they're doing a great job of just fighting on both ends of the floor and attacking the rim offensively.
Also, big story, Donald Hand left a couple minutes ago with an apparent right leg injury. BC's second leading scorer, Cameron, and he is fouled in the post. He's relentless off the offensive glass. One of those developing players for Kyle Smith. You know, one of those guys maybe not hotly recruited, but he's out of Brewster as well, and he's become a much better player.
Well, a few guys on this team have really taken a step up. We talked about Geeler early on, really playing well. He took a step up this year, and then Cameron, a guy who has gotten more responsibility with Akpara being out for the season for Stanford, and he stepped up and answered the call.
Yeah, good point on Chisholm Akpara. Akpara played down the road at Harvard. This is his second year in the Stanford program after he transferred, and he was one of their best offensive players. He's out for the year with a leg injury, so that was a big loss for them. But Stanford trying to remain alive, at least those under consideration for tournament play. Forte, baseline move by Chase Forte, showing a glimpse of why he was a first-team All-Summit League performer last year for South Dakota.
And John, but that was all set up by Taves. Good job attacking the paint, getting 2 feet in there, and then Forte playing off the closeout, finishing, and here he goes again, getting out in transition. Great drop right there.
Off the terrific distribution by Chase Forte. 10 points for Payne, the only Eagle in double figure, and suddenly they are down by 2 points, riding a 14-2 run.
And Forte doing a great job of just bringing energy for BC, getting out in transition, dropping it off to his partner Payne, and he knows what to do with it.
Yeah, Fred Payne's offense Last 2 years, BC has relied upon him to give them the bulk of their scoring production. Forte looks like he has some renewed energy.
And Forte is coming in as more of a defensive guard, right? He was a Summit League Defensive Player of the Year, but he can also get out and transition and play fast. And you see on the previous possession, he did a good job of attacking the closeout and finishing at the rim. These other guys, especially with Donald Hand out, need to step up and make an impact offensively.
A number that really sticks out to me in the bottom line there, the scouting report, the second half lead for BC in 10 of 14 losses. And that's just staggering when you're a team that's 9 and 14. You look back, I'm sure you did that in your Syracuse career. Oh, what could have been. You don't want to live in that area. But those are a lot of close losses to deal with.
Well, John, and a lot of it comes down to just taking care of the ball. You know, we talked about last game against Miami. Donald Hand had a crucial turnover at the end of the game. So if they can take care of the ball, make good decisions with the ball, they'll be much better for it.
Cameron. This is for Stanford with Kapke grabbing the rebound. Luka Taves in the front court for BC. With 1 minute remaining in the half. Fred Payne. Taves. Fade away. Nice touch by Luka Taves. BC ties it up.
How about Taves? He's playing today in this first half, looking to be aggressive, looking for a shot, and he is definitely stepping up and answering the call.
Dead Smith trying to stem the tide of a 16-2 BC run.
And John, you know what Taves has done a really good job of getting them organized in their half-court sets. He's finding the advantage and then looking to attack off of it.
Kapke, 4-second differential, shot clock, game clock, baseline, no. Hilty to Jeremy Dent-Smith. Down the lane, tied up. And a jump ball. Quick hands by the Eagles' Aiden Shaw. So BC trail by as many as 14 points, and here they are tied up.
And they're just fighting. They're being aggressive. We talked about they're a defensive-minded team, and they're just continuing to fight despite the turnovers in this first half. Still a tie game.
4 lead changes. Stanford's last field goal was at the 5:16 mark. BC's 16-2 differential since that point.
John, right here, it's crucial for BC just to communicate on this out-of-bounds play.
And some inconclusive evidence about whose ball it is. Oh. Tie-up by Aiden Shaw. Jump ball called. A.J. Desai, Kip Kissinger on the far side. Trying to sort it out. The arrow is wrong. It is BC ball.
There's not much you could do right here. You just got to get it throwing up.
Payne from midcourt. Would not have counted anyway, but still, BC, impressive comeback, industrious on both ends of the floor.
Stanford did a good job early on of getting ahead, but BC fighting, getting back in it defensively, and attacking the paint. Tie game at half.
So a good one at Connie Forum in Chestnut Hill. Coming up after this timeout, we'll send it to the studio with Kevin Connors and Seth Greenberg taking you through the day and night in college hoops. After this on the 2 run, first time they've been tied at the half this year as we take a look at some highlights. But Abuko Corey, our spotlight player, Eric.
I mean, Abuko Corey is going to do what he does. He's getting to the rim, finishing with both hands, and see him dancing a little bit. And how about this, the left-handed floater? That is a extreme skill set right there. And then Benny Gieler, the former walk-on, he's done a good job of being aggressive on both ends of the floor, getting in the passing lane, finishing in transition, and then he's done a good job of knocking down the open shot. Stanford really did a good job early on of taking advantage of BC's turnovers, but BC has been fighting. They've been getting out in transition, and that's when they really excel. Fred Payne doing what he does best, attacking the rim, and if they can take care of the ball better this half, they'll be in much better position going forward in this game, but you got to give credit to BC. They've done a great job of just fighting and then putting themselves in position to win this game.
Fred Payne, BC's leading scorer, 15 points per outing. Corey, 22 points per outing, closing in on Todd Lichty's Stanford freshman scoring record. Our first half stats: BC missed 5 3-pointers. Also, as you mentioned, copped the ball up too much, 9 turnovers, and paint points. They're last in the ACC, but not tonight.
But Stanford has to do a better job defensively of keeping guys in front. BC seems to be getting to the paint at will. They haven't done a great job finishing, but they've done enough to be able to make it a tie game.
And BC's second leading scorer, Donald Hand, left in the late stages of the first half. He has not returned, left with an apparent leg injury. So the Eagles do not have him on the floor. It's Luka Taves, Chase Forte, Fred Payne, Jaden Hastings, and Bowden Kapke. Stanford has Okori Geeler in their backcourt. This is Aiden Kamen. Agarwal on the take against Payne. Kamen, foul line extended. Hilty couldn't grab the loose ball. Here comes BC.
It was a good job by BC keeping guys in front and forcing a tough shot right there by Stanford.
You liked what Luka Taves, number 10 in white, gave BC in the first half. Payne off the bounce on the weak side block.
John, really like what Taves did. He settled BC down in the half court. He was able to take advantage, get in the paint, and then create opportunities for himself and others.
Agarwal to Okori. Corey played at Brewster Academy in New Hampshire. Great dribble. He just knifes through the defense like it's Bala.
I tell you what, he is so fast with that ball. That left to right crossover, Euro step, finishing, same hand, same foot. This guy is a talent.
Amazing handle. Devendorf-esque. Kickball. BC regains possession, but Payne gets blocked, and then Okori capitalizes.
Yeah, how about Okori? I mean, just that left to right crossover, and then being able to get in the lane and then maneuver his body and still finish at the rim. It's exceptional.
Stanford did not score a field goal in the last 5+ minutes of the first half. Fade away by Taves. What a touch.
And he's been doing a great job of getting to that elbow area and then making a really good decision, rising up and knocking it down.
He averages 6 points. And BC takes it away. Taves with 8. Hastings has 6. Fade away by Payne. And Geeler grabs it for Stanford.
And those are the shots, John, that BC can do without.
Early in the shot clock, minimize those, right?
And just continue to be aggressive at the rim. Don't take a tough fadeaway shot.
Nice move by Kamen. That was nifty on the baseline against Hastings.
Stanford needs these other guys to be aggressive and take the pressure off of Corey. We know Okori can shoulder the load, but to be consistent and get these wins, Stanford has to have these other guys make an impact. See Stanford going to a little bit of zone right here.
Taves, screen by Bowden Kapke. Elbow, and he's got another one. He's in double figures, and he's channeling some offense.
Well, how about the patience right there, playing off the pick and roll, keeping Okori on his backside, and then getting to his favorite spot right now on the floor, that elbow area. He's been able to knock down that jump shot all night.
Boy, Kamen slipped past his man Kapke, and it goes out of bounds. BC ball.
How about Taves, John? He's just been getting to his spots. Great patient, keeping him on his hip, getting to his spot, and just rising up and knocking it down. BC really needs him, especially in this half court. They've been struggling all season long in the half court set. He's doing a great job of settling them down and making plays.
Yeah, he's helping compensate for the absence of Donald Hand.
Absolutely.
3 by Kapke. And he's got it. Bowden Kapke's improved offensive player. Didn't score much for Butler last year, just 3 points per game, but for Earl Grant's offense, he averages 10.
And he's a guy that can bring the big away from the rim. He's capable of knocking down that three-point shot.
Good ball movement by BC. Kapke. And rebound for Stanford. So BC, renewed energy as Rahosi hits the deck for Stanford. Eagles with a 3-point lead. Exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by DQ. Happy tastes good. Brewster Academy is at a stand-up bumper crop class of outstanding players. TJ Warren and now Abuka Okori representing Brewster, traditionally one of the top 20 programs nationally. And standout freshman, not too shabby. Dabonsa, Boozer, Okori. Remember Boozer and Abuka Okori jockeying for freshman of the year on us.
I mean, that is a good 3-on-3 team right there.
Yes.
Those three guys. You know what, John? I want to see the Oak Hill alumni list versus the Brewster Academy alumni list. I'm a former Oak Hill alum, so I'm biased.
I know you are. There might be a slight agenda. That's all right. We won't hold it against you.
You go into that Oak Hill gym and you see the All-Americans on that wall. Unbelievable.
Are you on that wall?
I am. But Jason Smith has done a great job over at Brewster Academy.
Just the second lead of the game for BC. They have an early 6-5 advantage. Keeler, ball fake, hoisting the three, and a loose ball scooped up by Chase Forte.
Well, that was just bad spacing right there by Stanford on that offensive possession, and good job of BC crowding Okori when he has the ball.
Keeler, good court vision. Jeremy Dent-Smith, no. Keeler active. Okori kept alive. Keeler takes a three and makes the three.
Well, when you give them 3 opportunities to make a shot in the half court, they're going to take advantage of one. And BC turns it over. Stanford comes down, gets 3 opportunities, knock down the open 3.
Keeler has 4 of their 6 threes. They've missed 16 three-point attempts. Shooting 6 for 22. Luka Taves, cross court, Payne, and the rebound.
We know that's not Fred Payne's strong suit. He really could attack that closeout and try to get to the basket.
Rahosi's been quiet, up and under, though, on Bowden Kapke. Maybe a concentrated effort by Kyle Smith to get the ball inside more.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Again, take the pressure off of Okori. They're kind of been stagnant early on in the second half, so get the ball down to your big, see what he can do. Good job by Rahosi just being aggressive and attacking the rim, finishing.
Aiden Shaw gave it up. He ran into Aiden Cannon. And a turnover by Okori, rare turnover in transition. And for those who missed it earlier, Donald Hand, BC's second leading scorer, went down with an apparent leg injury. He ran into a double team, was grimacing as the shot went up, and he's still being evaluated in the BC locker room.
Yeah, we just hope the best for Donald Hand, one of the best players on this BC team, and hoping it's not a serious injury for him.
Just 7 points shy of 1,000 coming off the 20-point game against Miami. Payne tries to shake, but he throws it away. Here comes Okori to Dent-Smith, and he lays it in. Turnovers turn into offense.
So the last 3 possessions, 2 turnovers by BC, and if you're a coach, you hate to see when your player jumps in the air to pass the ball. Play off 2 feet. If you don't have it, you can kick it back out and get a reset.
7-0 Cardinal run. Payne. Ford to shoot. Baseline. Nice pass to shot, but he missed the slam, and he's fouled.
And that's what you have to do if you're BC. Just continue to attack the rim. You have almost 30 paint points. You just have to continue to do what's been working for you. Payne doing a good job of getting in there, drawing the defense, and Aiden Shaw, when you go up 2 hands on that thing, finish it. Could have had a 3-point opportunity, but chance to knock down 2.
How many times did you hear that from Jim Bayon?
Well, I never was getting up that high, so I was laying it up real fancy, though.
Yes, you were. Here's next week's Thursday night women's basketball doubleheader on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Number 21, North Carolina takes on Virginia Tech at 6 Eastern. Then the Miami Hurricanes host Stanford in Coral Gables. Terrific basketball action all season long on ACCN.
How about that Miami team? I tell you what, Coach Lucas has got those guys playing. Big win versus North Carolina last night, and
yep,
they got NCAA tournament hopes for sure.
Been a fun team to watch, like many teams in the ACC. Rahosi feeling more confident on the baseline. A.J. Rahosi.
And now, John, what this is doing for Stanford is the BC defense has to look at that a little bit more. Now it might loosen guys up on the perimeter, give them a chance to be able to play out some closeout if Rahosi kicks it out.
A 3 by Fred Payne. And Rahosi engulfs the board. Rahosi played for Kyle Smith at Washington State 2023-2024. Last year is at Claremont Mudd Scripps. That's a Division III school. And a 3.97 GPA. He was a finance major. And he's got another one.
Well, you just talked him up, and he's got 3 straight buckets. And you got to give Coach Smith credit. He's finding these guys. Talk about Dent Smith, a D2 All-American. Rahosi, a D3 guy.
Out of bounds, and we have a timeout. So Stanford revitalized. They are on a 9-2 run as they lead BC by 6. Planner, Celtics president of basketball operations. And the ACC standings, Duke leading the way. It's tight up front. NC State, Miami, you mentioned the Canes, Louisville, and UNC. But this back end, BC, if the season ends today, would be in the ACC tournament as the 15th seed.
Well, the ACC conference has come leaps and bounds from last year. If you look at those standings, probably 8-9 teams that are in the running for NCAA tournament bid.
Joe Lenardi has 8 teams in the tournament. ESPN's bracketologist, 8 coming from the ACC, but the Eagles in another cold stretch, and you said there's a correlation with Luka Taves off the floor?
I think Taves just did a great job in the half court of settling him down and getting him good opportunities. With him out the game, they have to be able to do this and then look to push the pace and get ahead of the defense.
Rahosi, who's been hot with 3 straight buckets, gets the ball taken away by Caleb Steger, as you see BC with no field goals in the last 6.5 minutes. Bowden Kapke wheeling against Rahosi.
BC has to have some off-the-ball movement when Cappy gets the ball in the post.
That's the 5th 3 of the game for Benny Gieler.
God, he's just a gamer. Like, he just comes out and plays hard. He doesn't complain. When things go bad, you can't even tell.
Kyle Smith had so many good things to say about him. Instrumental in their success. 14-2 run for the Cardinal, and this bucket, Okori, nice and easy in transition.
And if you're BC, you have to be aware of Benny Gieler on the wing and in transition shooting the ball. And I think Kyle Smith does a great job of recruiting guys who just compete at a high level. Benny Gieler is a guy who competes at a super high level every single game.
2 points shy of his career high. He's at 18 points. Kyle Smith has an analytical system They call it nerd ball in Palo Alto. As Kapke with the athletic hook, but 55 statistical categories are charted by the Stanford staff. Don't ask me to name them all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge guy in analytics. I think you go out there and you compete at a high level and you see what happens. But there's a place for it. I understand that. I think sometimes, you know, you get too much of it. You start to get guys overthinking.
Well, it's been a great system for him in all his stops. He's won Columbia, San Francisco, Washington State, now with Stanford. He says, you know what, I'm not going to be a big portal guy. I'll use it when it's necessary. It's all about having guys to come in and building a program, playing 2, 3, 4 years at Stanford.
Well, it's guys buying into what he's selling, right? And he's getting guys from D3 level, D2 level, and then they're playing at this level and excelling.
Rahosi. High percentage shot, but he missed it.
He missed Young right there. Young had to do a better job of sealing right there for that high-low. He had an opportunity at the rim.
So Taves back in the BC lineup, initiates. Hayden Shaw, the Missouri transfer, and a foul on the Cardinal. That's on Rahosi.
John, I just think in the half court, John, too, for BC, they're letting the ball stick too long. If you don't have it, let it go, cut through, and get some movement. When you have good spacing, when the ball moves, you're going to be able to rotate that defense and move them and get better looks at the rim.
They go through stretches, and it's been pretty prevalent throughout the last couple of years. BC has gone through 4, 5, 6. We saw it moments ago. They had a 7-minute stretch without any field. That time, different though, to Hayden Shaw.
And that's what you do. Play off of the closeout. Good job attacking the rim and then finding an open man. And Hayden Shaw is one of the most athletic forwards in the ACC. He can finish.
And he is long and backed up Mark Mitchell at Missouri. Gave Missouri some good minutes off their bench.
Just a great job of attacking right there and finding an open man and finishing at the rim. Basketball could be a simple game. You attack the closeouts, you get into the paint. Now it's about making the right decision.
That foul was on BC's Caleb Steger, his first, with Abuka Okori at the line. Great point about the ball sticking. You see that all the time as Donald Hand is back on the BC bench. Hopefully he's okay. He's in civilian clothes, but hopefully he will be back soon. BC taking on Cal on Saturday, Valentine's Day. A noon start on ACC Network.
I already got my dinner reservations for my wife, so I'm all good. I'm off the hook.
Let me guess, you're hitting... there's a lot of hot spots where you live in Syracuse.
Well, she's watching right now, so I can't say it. So it's a surprise.
Oh, it's a surprise. All right. Luka Taves for 3. You're such a romantic. Luka Taves had 21 points earlier this year against FPU. Now he has 13. He's made all 6 of his shots from the field.
And when Taves is able to be aggressive and play like that, he takes a lot of pressure off guys like Fred Payne.
Good drive by Okori. My goodness. Excellent pass on a double team by Den Smith.
And that's what makes him, Okori, such a great offensive player, because even when he doesn't have the ball in his hand, he's cutting, he's getting to the basket and finding other ways to score off the ball.
Okori tracks it down. More nifty dribbling, but he's hindered by Taves. Den Smith, deep 3. Is that the shot they're looking for?
Well, yeah, Den Smith, he can make that. He's open, step into it. I think Kyle Smith doesn't have a problem with that shot at all.
Steger, prolific high school scorer, 18 points per game last year at Dallas, Jesuit High, and he drives and is fouled.
To his spots, taking what the defense gives him and knocking it down.
And for hockey fans, there are many BC hockey fans. They're coming off a Beanpot win on Monday night, TD Garden, where they beat BU, scoring 6 goals. But he's the cousin of Jonathan Taves, former Chicago Blackhawks star. No, you're a Red Wings fan.
I'm a Red Wings fan through and through.
With your
It's Hockey
Detroit
Town
roots.
City. That's Hockey Town right there.
Well, certainly a heck of a ride with the Red Wings. As Okori watches. And here comes BC. Both teams shooting 45%. Stanford's made 4 more threes than the Eagles. Aiden Shaw. Bowden Kapke. He's tough in the post, and he shows you why.
And he has the size advantage right there over Young. Good job of getting low in that post position and then putting that shoulder in his chest, finishing with that left hand.
Okori. Screened by Gieler. They play a 2-man game. Rare misfire for Benny Gieler.
And John, if you're BC, that's what you want. You want Stanford out on the perimeter taking those shots rather than getting into the paint and getting to the free throw line.
Caleb Steger. You see with a 3-guard attack headlined by Taves at the point. Eagles playing without the injured Donald Hand. 4 seconds left on the shot clock, and Taves had a pretty good look.
Great job maneuvering right there through the defense, getting back to the middle of the floor, and he's been hitting that shot all night. That was a good shot by Taves.
But Stanford, to their credit, stemming the tide, withstanding the flurry of counterpunches. Okori down the lane, and the athletic roll. My goodness. Okori hits the deck, and it's an N1. Penetration is superb.
I mean, he's one of the best of the country of just getting by, getting to the lane, and then so creative with both hands finishing at the rim. This guy's 6'2", about $180, maybe $185, but just controlling through the contact. And man, he's just having an unbelievable freshman year. And I think he'll be back again next year, you know, for Stanford. And somebody's going to have to get that NIL bag going.
It's 7 straight points for Abuka Okori. And now almost a steal on Taves instead of foul. Much to the chagrin of Stanford coach Kyle Smith. 6 college basketball games highlight Saturday's ESPN schedule that starts at noon Eastern. These are the featured matchups. Number 1 Arizona hosts number 16 Texas Tech at 6:30 Eastern. And number 21 Arkansas hosts Auburn. And the night is capped off by 12th-ranked Gonzaga and Santa Clara. Should be another terrific Saturday with more than 12 hours of college hoops. You don't have to go anywhere. Eric Diemendorf lounging in the shadows of his palatial estate as Hastings throws a pass in the post.
It's -5 degrees out in Syracuse, John. This is springtime weather right here in Boston for me.
Yeah, you got up to 40 in Chestnut Hill.
I had T-shirts and I thought about bringing the shorts out, but I didn't.
A heat wave. Taves to Hastings. BC hanging around, but a giveaway and a foul. Bad pass by Luka Taves. That's on Bowden Kapke, and yeah, that guy looks familiar. Eric Diemendorf.
It's a good-looking guy right there.
8 3-point field goals. 7th in Syracuse history. This is one of the most memorable games in college basketball history. 6 overtimes. I don't know how you played 61 minutes. I have no idea. And all I can tell you is you must have had a nice massage after the game.
You know what? Well, we actually went in OT the next day against West Virginia and got a win, and then we lost in the championship versus Louisville. But, oh, man, I had so much fun playing at Syracuse and under Coach Boeheim, and we had such talented teams throughout my years there. And as you see, Cameron knocked down the top of the key three. But we just had guys who really competed at a high level and really loved to play the game.
That was the famous game at Madison Square Garden when you got up on the scorer's table.
And it didn't count, but I tell everyone that was the start of the magic right there. It made for the rest of the game. It was kind of the setup.
Kapke for three, and he counters the Gammon three, so the big man getting in the three-point parade. Kapke can extend the floor for BC with his three-point shot. He's become a more versatile offensive player. That also ended an 8-1 Cardinal run. Rahosi was hot earlier in the half. And Corey looks at the shot clock of just down to under 4. And he's got a three-pointer.
You know what? I was going to say something about how Stanford looks stagnant in the half court, but when you have a guy like a Corey, you just say, hey, look, go ahead, get the ball, and make something happen. And 95% of the time, that's what he does.
He's also 2 points away from Todd Lichty's freshman scoring record of 516. And the rebound put back by Jaden Hastings.
And look, John, BC is not going to go away. We saw how they continued to fight in that first half. They're going to do the same thing these last 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Eagles have been a team of close games in the second half as the hook shot by Rahosi. And Payne grabs the rebound. And he's got a quiet second half, but he hits that one. And the Eagles cut it to 5, and that will bring us to a timeout. But Abuka Corey starting to take over, candidate for freshman of the year, and this is pretty.
And if you're a Corey, just tell him to give me the ball and get out the way. I'm going to make it happen and knock it down.
Of Stanford, maybe a little Allen Iverson in this game. What do you think, Eric?
Oh, I like that comparison. I mean, he's just such a dynamic scorer. And look at right here. Ooh, excuse me, getting by. Left-handed floater right there. He does it at all 3 levels. Transition, pulling up for 3. And what I really like about Corey is he does it on both ends. And you see the comparison right here. Allen Iverson growing up, John, was my favorite player just because he played and competed at such a high level and he had such a big heart. And I really like that comparison. I see a lot of that in Corey.
Yeah, what a number. 29% of his team's points. Anytime you're compared to a Hall of Famer, I think he'll take that.
Absolutely. And he's going to have his pick of the litter next year with this NIL era, and he's going to be a $2 to $3 million guy.
Well, that's the last thing that Kyle Smith wants to hear. He wants it on the farm.
Well, you know what? I mean, we love Kyle Smith, but you might have to get that bag up for him.
It's a 3 by Aiden Gammon beating the shot clock. And that brings us to a foul against Stanford. And also a timeout. The animated Kyle Smith. Stanford trying to hang on in the final minute, 53 seconds. It might have been, Eric. Crunch time has been an issue.
Well, they've been doing a good job of being there throughout. Now it's just about finishing, taking care of the basketball, executing in the half court, making good decisions. And I think a big thing for this Boston College team, when you get in these crunch time situations, who's the go-to guy? Who are you giving the ball? Is it Frank Payne? Was it Donald Hand? So they have to be able to figure that out and then be able to go with it.
And an adjustment by the Eagles going full court pressure. And you questioned the foul before the break on Jeremy Dent-Smith. It was a poor foul, and Kyle Smith was quite upset with the choice to foul.
Well, it's a silly foul, and then they make 2 free throws. And not only do they make 2 free throws, but it allows BC to set up in their full court pressure.
That's what's the key for Stanford here to break this.
Well, they got to be able to get good spacing, and then right now,
travel. That's not going to do it. Turnover, Stanford.
And the last 2 possessions, Dent-Smith, a bad foul right there, and then a turnover right here on this out-of-bounds play, and right on cue, Coach Smith taking him out. And you just got to know that, can I move or not? And obviously, he didn't talk to the ref. And that's a tough one right there.
That's the 10th Cardinal turnover. BC Inbounding to Hastings.
This is coming down to the same way we did the last game last year, John.
3 by Payne. Good look, but it did not go. Gieler the rebound.
That was a great opportunity right there to tie it up. Great drive by Forte. Payne just couldn't knock it down.
Payne is 9 hit threes, 0 for 6. Eagles as a team, 4 for 15. And this remains Stanford ball. Take another look.
Yeah, it looks like it's off Cameron right there.
Jaden Hastings got his hand in there.
And two, John, if I'm Gieler, not giving it to Cameron on the sideline right there in this situation, you know who I'm going to give it to? Corey. Corey, go grab the ball.
Call the last
one.
Timeout. Boston College to challenge that ruling.
So BC challenges it. Worthwhile challenge in your estimation.
Yeah, absolutely. With this last 121 for Stanford, you give the ball to your best player and one of the best players in the country in Corey, and let him make a play.
Quick hands by Jaden Hastings to fluster Aiden Cameron. Definitely touched by Cameron there.
You see, they both have their hands on the ball right there, but I think Cameron followed through and threw it out of bounds.
It didn't look like Hastings touched it again, but the review is ongoing. Agent aside, Kip Kessinger and Jamel Spearman, the officiating crew. Fans getting a look on the video boards at Connie Forum of the disputed call.
After review, Boston College.
And it is BC ball after review. Good coach's challenge by O'Grill.
And this is the right call. Great hustle play right there by Hastings.
A good hustle by the Eagles there in the last 3 minutes. Just when you thought that type of game, Stanford pulled away for a minute. BC comes back, a game of runs. Eagles on a 6-0 run over the last minute, 40 seconds. Payne to Taves. He's been good. Fade away. Way off.
Stanford did a good job of just cutting off his driving lane. John, you didn't have to settle right there on that possession if you're BC. You want to still try to attack and get to the rim.
Kapke to the BC bench. Aiden Shaw back in. Benny Gieler to inbounds. Finds Corey. Under a minute to play in regulation. Gieler pounded. BC with 6. They'll check that 5 fouls. Agarwal. And there's a foul on the Eagles. That's on Jaden Hastings. He is fouled out, so Kapke out of lineup for about 20 seconds, back in for Hastings.
Yeah, Stanford just has to quit messing around and give the ball to Corey. And you want to live and die with that, with the ball in the hands of your best player.
Gieler to inbound. Looking for Corey. 2-pointer, and he becomes the Stanford all-time freshman scoring leader for one season. Trying to kill some clock. Shot clock down to 6. Corey. Doubled to Gieler. Deep 3. He got it! What a shot by Benny Gieler on a night of huge shots. And down the lane goes Fred Payne.
Well, you can see all the attention that Corey draws, and then who else but Benny Gieler hitting tough shots? He's been hitting tough shots all year long.
Incredible. The old Devendorf, ice in the veins.
Well, you know what? Unbelievable story for Benny Gieler. And you see right here, all the attention is on Okori, and Benny Gieler says, I'll take that, step into it, and knock it down. The confidence you have to have, the ice in your veins. Benny Gieler, a former walk-on, earns a scholarship, and the impact that he is having on this team is unbelievable. Unbelievable player.
That's your storyline. The fact that Gieler has lit them up for 6 threes and 13 attempts, and Gieler and Okori have combined for 43 of their 69 points.
And we all know what Okori is going to do, but Benny Gieler, 7 for 14 from the field. Not only making shots, but making big shots in clutch situations.
Once again, Eagles in crunch time. Looks like another struggle. They only had 2 leads in this game, though.
You got to credit them. They've been fighting the whole game, just not enough.
Shot off the mark by Taves. And Stanford knew coming into this game, they needed this game. They go to Wake Forest on Saturday. They'll hit the Winston-Salem tomorrow. This is a game they need to stay alive on the cusp of, there's some conversation. NIT, they're under consideration, says our Joe Lenardi. They're 83 overall right now in his rankings, but that's probably a stab in the dark right now. But the fact that they have to play more consistent basketball, this is a game they needed.
Well, yeah, and it's always going to be tough on the road. I don't care who you're playing. On the road in the ACC, it's going to be a tough game, and they have a favorable schedule going ahead, and I think those 4 quad 1 victories are still keeping them in the run for the NCAA tournament home.
So Stanford comes away with a 70-64 win. BC was feisty, but Stanford, too much Benny Gieler and too much Abuka Okori.
Yeah, great job by both teams, just competing hard. Stanford set the tone early. BC came back fighting, just not enough. Great road win for Stanford.
Eric Devendorf, a pleasure. He's Eric Devendorf. I'm John Mina Perrell. Stay tuned for the Climb LSU Gymnastics to watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on the ESPN family of networks. Download the ESPN app. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good night from Chestnut Hill.